Hi, and welcome to Technical Jargons 101. The aim of this series is to address misuse of certain terminologies within the technology space. Both technical and non-technical people are guilty of this misuse. A little bit about myself. I work with teams that build productivity tools, so I'm a software engineer. Part of my role is to liaise with both technical and non-technical people. In emails flying around, I noticed this misuse of terminologies, where people use one terminology to mean another, or just use it wrongly altogether. So I will be addressing these terminologies or this misuse by doing three things. One, telling you what they are, defining them. Two, how they are being used in technology. Three, how they relate to each other. That way we can better understand how to use these terminologies properly. For this episode, we will be focusing on three main terminologies. One, large language model, LLM. Two, retrieval augmented generation, RAG. And three, generative AI, also called Gen AI. So, stay with me as we dive in. Welcome back. We're starting with the first terminology, LLM, large language model. But before I can talk about large language model, I need to explain what an AI model is. Large language model is a type of AI model. So, defining what an AI model is would help us better understand what an LLM, large language model, is. What is an AI model? An AI model is mathematical representation of systems, processes, or tasks so that they can perform other tasks. Tasks like pattern recognition, classification, making decisions and predictions on input data. AI models did not start when ChatGPT came. They've always existed. AI models are the core components of any AI systems. They are the reason why AI systems can perform tasks, because these models have been trained on a large data set of data to be able to perform such tasks. So, now that we know what an AI model is, then we can define what a large language model is. A large language model is a type of AI model that is trained on human text to be able to understand and generate text or human-like text. That is the task for a large language model. There are other AI models, like I say. So we have the classical machine learning models, the statistical models, the time series and forecasting models. There are quite a number of them before LLM. Now, LLM really blew up because of recent advancement in training models. And LLMs as an AI model have been trained to be able to understand and generate human-like text. That is why LLMs are being used in productivity tools that are chatbots that can respond back to you like a human would. So, that is what an LLM is. On the next part, we're going to talk about what a retrieval augmented generation is. Some people call them RAG models. Is RAG a model? Stay tuned as we carry on. Retrieval augmented generation, also called RAG, popularly called RAG, actually. Now, people refer to RAG as models. So is RAG a model? Let's find out. Now, RAG are not models or AI models in the classical sense. When people say RAG or RAG model, what they mean is RAG index. Now, what are RAG indexes? RAG indexes are data that have mathematical representation of its context. So they have similar representation like an AI model would. That data is usually customized data for a particular domain. So you can gather data around healthcare and then convert the content data into mathematical representations called embeddings. Now, I feel people refer to RAG indexes as RAG models because they can encode knowledge using embeddings. What are embeddings? A mathematical representation of data. And that is similar to what an AI model does. Remember, I said AI model are mathematical representation of system processing tasks that are trained on data. So that is one reason why RAG indexes are referred to as models. Another reason why they are referred to as models is because they also play an important role in decision making, just like a traditional AI model would. So they have a lot of semblance to an AI model. But are they an AI model? No, in the classical sense. In a different context, you could call them a model, but they are not an AI model. I would say don't even call them models, but again, people say RAG model. I've also said it in the past, but when we say RAG models, we're not referring to them as an AI model. Now, how do RAG and LLMs intertwine? Wait for the next part as we continue. RAG and LLM. Just as a reminder, what is RAG? Retrieval Augmented Generation. LLM, Large Language Model. One of them is an AI model, one of them isn't. Which one is it? LLM is an AI model. RAG is just a model. It's not an AI model. Again, remember I do say RAG model. When people say RAG model, they're referring to RAG indexes, okay? Now, what's the relationship between an LLM and a RAG? Chatbots are largely built on LLM. LLM, again, is being trained on a large set of data to be able to understand and generate human-like text. Now, that large data set means it has a lot of general information, which means sometimes when you're asking it for specific or domain-specific information, it often says nonsense. And that's why RAG came in. What is RAG? Retrieval Augmented Generation. So it augments the understanding of the LLM. So if you're trying to build a domain-specific productivity tool, what you would have to do is curate domain-specific data, convert them into mathematical representations called embeddings, create a RAG index of such embeddings, and use that index to augment the understanding of an LLM. You see? So when I say RAG is also plays an important part in decision making, that is because it helps the LLM to be clever in that domain. It makes it more clever than the LLM would have been if it is not directed to that domain-specific information. So RAG models cannot exist on themselves. They assist the LLM to be better at answering domain-specific questions. So that's the relationship between RAG and LLM. Hope that is clear. So we're going to go to generative AI. And my question is ChatGPT an LLM? Stay tuned as we carry on. Generative AI. What is generative AI? Right. So generative AI is a broader AI designed for producing content beyond text. So it can produce images, videos, music, what else? Code as well. So a generative AI encompasses AI models beyond LLMs. Like I said, LLM is a type of AI model. Now, a Gen AI tool would use LLM plus other AI models. Okay, other AI models that a generative AI tool can use is one called the generative adversarial net. I think it's neural network without the neural. There's the diffusion model. There are different AI models that a Gen AI tool can use, including an LLM if it wants to or not. Okay, so generative AI tools are tools that use AI models, period. So the popular ones for text, so generative AI tools for text are ChatGPT. So if you said yes to ChatGPT being an LLM, no, it's a Gen AI tool. So we've got ChatGPT, you got Googlebot, Claude, Jasper AI, I think that's for creative writing, and also the recently popular one called DeepSeek. Yeah, all of them are generative AI tools that use LLM. Now there are other generative AI tools that don't use LLM. So you have the DALL-E for images, you have Music LM for audio, Codex for programming. They all use AI models with LLM models or not. It depends on what the function is. So a generative AI tool is not an LLM. In some cases, people have referred to the GPT models as a Gen AI. Stay tuned and I'll explain why. So to end this episode, generative AI, I'm just giving us a recap now. They are tools or applications, right, that use LLM and other types of AI models to perform productivity tasks. LLM is an AI model that is used by AI systems for generating text. So, because they've been trained to understand and generate human-like text, right? What is the relationship? So I would say, giving you an analogy here, GPT-4 LLM as an LLM is the engine of a car. ChatGPT, a Gen AI tool, is the car that uses this engine to take you to places. So if you see it that way, you would understand how a Gen AI tool relates to an LLM model. Okay, so it depends on what the Gen AI tool's function is. I've used ChatGPT because its function is to respond in human-like text. So ChatGPT is the car. GPT-4 model as an LLM is the engine. Now, to confuse you a bit, not confuse you, I'm guessing some people already know, but just so we're clear, some people have referred to GPT-4 as a Gen AI tool. Now, the difference is how it's being used. If you're using GPT-4 through an API, it could be seen as a Gen AI tool, right? Because you're asking it to do more things. Now, if you use GPT-4 within ChatGPT, it is just an LLM. I'll end this here. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. I do have a slide I use to present or prepare for my presentations. I can share it with you. I just don't know how yet. I'm just new to this. But thank you, and I'll see you on the next episode. See ya.